Welcome to ValueVest Daily, where we analyze the best value and momentum investment opportunities. You know, when most people think of AI, they're probably picturing chatbots, right? But what if I told you its biggest impact isn't going to be on our screens, but actually inside our own cells? Today, we're diving into a quiet revolution that's happening right now, one that's using AI to completely change how we create medicines. I mean, just think about that for a second. What if AI could actually design a cure? It really does sound like something straight out of science fiction. But this is the very real question that's driving a whole new breed of biotech companies. They are betting everything that AI is the key to unlocking the future of medicine. And we're going to look at exactly how they're trying to do it. So here's our game plan. First, we'll unpack the huge problem these companies are trying to solve. Then, we're going to meet the 5 key players, and we'll compare their totally different philosophies. Are you a big data company or a deep physics company? Are you built for speed or for knowledge? Then we'll peek at the next frontier of drug design before we wrap it all up by talking about the massive, and I mean massive, risks and rewards. Okay, so to really get why AI is such a big deal here, you first have to understand just how broken the current system for discovering drugs really is. It is just a brutal process. I'm talking over a decade, and billions with a B of dollars just to get one new medicine onto the shelves. And for every single success story, there are just countless failures that burn through mountains of cash in clinical trials. It's wildly inefficient, and that bottleneck is exactly what these new companies think AI is finally ready to shatter. And hey, a really quick but very important heads up before we dive in. This explainer is covering some very early stage, super high-risk companies. So please remember, this is all for informational purposes. It is absolutely not financial advice. As you're about to see, the potential for things to go wrong here is, well, it's extremely high. All right, with that crucial point made, let's meet the pioneers. We're going to look at 5 publicly traded companies that are each using AI and robotics to completely reboot drug discovery. And honestly, they're all flying a little bit under the mainstream radar. Okay, here's the lineup at a glance. We've got Recursion, Relay, Excitia, Benevolent AI, and Absi. And yeah, you can see the market caps are all over the place, from a few $100 million to over $2 billion. They're all going after big targets like cancer. But the real story here, the thing you got to pay attention to, is how different their AI strategies are. And that's exactly what we're going to dig into next. Let's kick things off with a really fascinating comparison. This is like a battle of core philosophies. Do you solve the mysteries of biology by just observing everything? Or do you do it by understanding the fundamental laws of physics that make it all tick? And right here, you see the 2 extremes of that debate. On one side, you've got Recursion with their big data approach. They're basically using AI to look at millions of pictures of cells, searching for patterns a human could never hope to spot. Then you have Relay, taking a deep physics approach. They're using AI to simulate how proteins actually move and wiggle, right down to the atomic level. It's scale versus precision. Let's zoom in on Recursion. Their whole advantage is just sheer scale. They call their platform the operating system for biology, and it's basically a data factory, pumping out over a petabyte of their own visual data. That's 1,000 terabytes. And the payoff for this data fire hose? They claim they can cut discovery time by whopping 70%. This is a true moonshot bet on the power of big data. Now, in sharp contrast, Relay's precision approach doesn't care about the whole cell. It zooms way, way in on a single moving protein. Their Dynamo platform simulates how these proteins fold and change shape, which lets them find these tiny hidden pockets that everyone else thought were undruggable. This incredible precision shrinks their design cycles from months down to just weeks. They're finding targets in ways others literally can't. All right, our next comparison gets into another major strategic divide. Is it better to use AI to create brand new medicines faster than ever imagined? Or is it smarter to use AI to sift through all of human knowledge to find cures that are hiding in plain sight? And this brings us to X Science Scientia, the speed engine, versus Benevolent AI, the knowledge engine. Think of it this way. X Science Scientia is all about generation, creating brand new molecules from scratch. Benevolent AI, on the other hand, is all about synthesis, connecting the dots across millions of research papers to find new uses for old drugs. The numbers from Exscientia are just wow. Mind-blowing. Their AI platform can take a drug concept from just an idea to a clinical-ready candidate in only 8 months. You know what the industry average is? 4 years. And this isn't just theory. 90% of the molecules their AI dreams up can actually be made in a lab. Their whole game is about collapsing the timeline to the clinic. Benevolent AI strategy is totally different, but just as powerful. Their AI has basically read every medical paper ever written, building this massive knowledge graph to spot connections no human would ever see. This is perfect for drug repurposing, which is way faster and cheaper, and they're hitting a 75% success rate in validating their ideas. But here's their secret weapon: explainable AI. In a world built on trust, being able to show regulators how the AI got its answer, that is a game changer.
So we've covered scale, precision, speed, and knowledge. Our final company, AbbVie, is taking on what a lot of people think is the next frontier and the single biggest market in medicine: complex drugs called biologics. This quote right here really says it all. It captures the incredible shift AbbVie is trying to create. See, antibodies are the workhorses of modern medicine, but making them has always been this slow, animal-based process. AbbVie wants to do the whole thing inside a computer. AbbVie's whole deal is using generative AI to design brand new antibodies from the ground up. Their AI can predict how well they'll work with 95% accuracy and can speed up discovery by a factor of 100. So what's the thesis here? It's a bet that their AI-first approach will let them totally disrupt the market for biologics, a market that already makes up 70% of all new drugs. It's huge. Whew, okay, we've met the players, we've seen their amazing tech, but now we have to pull the camera back and look at the big picture. Because this whole sector, it's a massive, high-stakes gamble, balancing this revolutionary potential against some pretty brutal reality. And this, right here, is the single most important idea you need to understand. When you look at these companies, you're not just betting on a single drug to pass a phase 2 trial. You are betting on the platform. The idea is that the AI and robotics engine itself is the real prize. It's a machine that can hopefully spit out new drug candidates for years, even if the first few don't make it. This chart just lays out the trade-off perfectly. On one hand, the promise is absolutely incredible. We're talking about making drug discovery 5 to 10 times more efficient. But on the other hand, the risk is enormous. Even with all this brilliant AI, the source material suggests you're still looking at an 80, maybe even higher, failure rate for any given drug. Biology is just that complicated. Which brings us to this final, really sobering takeaway from the source material. Because of this extreme risk, the all-or-nothing nature of clinical trials, where one result can make or break a company, it's suggested that any investment in this space should probably be a very small and very carefully considered part of a much bigger portfolio. And that really leaves us with the big question for the future, doesn't it? We've seen these different philosophies in action: Recursion's big data, Relay's deep physics, ex-scientia's speed, benevolence knowledge. As AI keeps getting smarter, is one of these strategies going to win out, or will the real breakthroughs come from some new combination of them all? It's going to be a fascinating race to watch. Thanks for joining us. Please subscribe, like, and share ValueVest Daily for learning daily opportunities before you put your money to work. Oh, and hey, one more thing. Please put in the comments if you want us to do a deep dive on any of these specific high-risk, high-reward opportunities. We'd love to hear from you.